Good evening and welcome to Democratic Television, where issues and current events that are important to democratic values are discussed. My name is LaKenya Middlebrook and I will be hosting this evening. I'm very excited to be here with two very special guests that are here to talk about an event that has been critical to the Knoxville community for years. We have Mr. Obayana Ajanaku and Tor Ajanaku with us tonight to discuss the KUUMBA Festival. They are both with the African American Appalachian Arts Incorporated. Did I get that right? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. We're going to call it Quad A just to make it easy. But they are the organizers of the KUUMBA Festival, which brings art and culture to this community and has done so for many years. So welcome, gentlemen, and thank you all for joining us tonight. So I would love it if you would just tell us a little bit about KUUMBA Festival, how it got started, and what KUUMBA brings to this community.
In 1989, a group of community activists came together and created an event to basically represent the African American culture and history in Knoxville. And for a couple of years, it was under a different name, but in the early 90s, they chose to call it the KUUMBA Festival. KUUMBA means creativity. One thing that's very important when it comes to developing something out of nothing, you have to have some kind of level of creativity.
Exactly.
So due to lack of resources or lack of involvement, definitely creativity is very important. So KUUMBA means creativity. It's a Kiswahili word that means creativity. So from there, it was started off as just something that we built our own stages from ground up. Then as the years progressed, we were able to acquire more support and sponsorships, and we do the KUUMBA Camp every year. We've been doing that since the early 90s, which we train anywhere from 50 to 100 children every year to do African drum and dance. And also there's history that they learn there too, and a few other positive affirmations throughout the camp. And then they go forth to the KUUMBA Festival and actually showcase what they've learned. It's very important for the KUUMBA Festival to be in this community because you don't see a whole lot of African American and or African culture represented in Knoxville, Tennessee. So we serve as a vehicle to kind of put that out there and educate people on African and African American culture in the Appalachian region.
Yeah, and I'm happy that you brought that up because that was something that I think for many in the community, a big part of the reason why KUUMBA is so important, because in the African American community especially, we have a more challenging time than other groups represented in the community in terms of knowing our history and being able to trace back our lineage and our roots. And so to have the opportunity to have African culture and African American culture represented in the space, I think is important. And I know in 1989, both of you guys were very young, but talk a little bit about the sentiment and kind of the desire to represent that and kind of what that grew out of, if you can.
Well, also one of the things that the KUUMBA Festival does, and just the whole movement of the creativity that we focus on, it really fills a void. You know, one of the things that my mom specifically saw in Knoxville when she first got here was that void that was missing of African culture and people identifying with it. Like, it's a sense, it shows a sense of identity when you identify where you're from.
Right.
And as far as we are people of African descent, and we take pride in it. And it's very important to share that pride. Because, you know, of course, when you have a great idea where you come from, as far as like lineage-wise, you know, broad.
Right.
Let's go broad with lineage. Kind of give you an idea of where you want to go.
Exactly.
And that's really the main principle behind it, you know, it's just kind of giving people a sense of self-identity, because a lot of times people, I think every person feels some type of void. We don't have history about their people.
Right.
They don't get to see a positive aspect of it. They only see what the media shows, you know. They didn't see the rich culture of Africa, like where the drums come from. They specifically come from the Mali Empire. The Mali Empire was one of the most richest and flourishing empires at that time. And like that's exactly where the drums that we teach come from. So I teach the kids about the drums, and you know our sisters do the dance. Just from doing the drum and the dance and learning about the history of the drums, they're learning about their culture.
That's
You know,
awesome.
we use the festival and the drums and the dance as a vehicle to reach the next generation. And our main focus is the kids, because you know, like Toy said, the KUUMBA Festival started in the '90s, and we both were in the KUUMBA Camp. Now we run the KUUMBA Camp. So that's how it's supposed to go, like one generation to the next generation. So it's important for us to know that 10 years later, some of our students would be doing the same things what we were doing as far as being more hands-on.
Yeah.
So the main importance of it is just keeping things going on from generation to generation, because if you don't, the culture will be lost. It'll look like we never done it before.
Right. And there are a couple of points there that I kind of want to unpack, but you mentioned the fact that, you know, coming up, you all came through KUUMBA Camp, and you have, you know, kind of grown up in KUUMBA. Talk a little bit about, I would love to hear your perspective on how KUUMBA has grown, you know, because you guys have kind of grown together, right? You guys have grown and evolved, and now you all are organizers of the event. From its early stages in 1989 to 2017, going now into 2018, because you just wrapped the 2017 camp and moving into 2018. How has the festival itself grown, and also how has the community's response to KUUMBA and Quad A evolved over the course of that time?
You know, it started off small.
It was just one day, too.
It was just one day festival. And then eventually over the years, it's gotten bigger and it's gotten smaller, it's gotten bigger based on our resources and as far as sponsorships concerned. But it has evolved over the years positively in some ways and negatively in some other ways. More so negative only because of the funding. But one of my mothers, which is Nkeki Ajanaku, she's one of the founders, and she's one of the people who, well, she is the person that continued as other of the founders kind of went their separate ways. Right. She continued the festival because she knew the importance of it. Whether we had lack of funding, lack of support, she continued to do it because on principle, it had to continue to go. Right. Because if, like he said, you know, if we don't do it, then it'll be lost. Right. But it's very important for the children to see it. It's very important that the children see the African drum and dance, to see the international vendors who come and sell their African products and food and things like that. And just to be present at an event that's not only for, but represents African and African American culture. And you know, it's not only for African American people. Exactly. It's for everyone to enjoy, just like the Dogwood Arts Festival and everything else. You know, everyone's welcome to enjoy it. It's not something that we exclude, you know, certain ethnic groups or certain groups of people from coming. But it's just a representation. It's something that shows the creativity of an African people. Yeah.
And to that point, and you just basically led right into what my next kind of question was going to be. You know, as we talked about the importance of people of African descent being able to connect to that heritage and that lineage, and the need to feel connected to who you are and where you come from, but also, to your point, the need for the larger community to have that experience and have a better understanding of our culture and our heritage and our lineage, to kind of further their understanding of who we are as a people. So have you seen over the course of the years more engagement from the broader community in terms of coming out to KUUMBA and celebrating this experience with the organizers and with the African American community?
Oh yes, for sure. We definitely have a diverse crowd. One of the reasons we brought KUUMBA Festival downtown to Market Square, our first day that's open to the public is on the Fridays at Market Square. One of the reasons is so we can have something downtown that's specific towards African culture. Also, for it to be easy for different diverse groups to come and participate and witness, the KUUMBA Festival itself. So we have the whole downtown crowd, which is very diverse. They come and participate. They patronize the vendors. They watch the concerts, watch the show. So it's there already. On Saturday and Sunday, we do have participation from other ethnic groups as well, and for the most part, most people enjoy it. But there is a phobia or some kind of divide there still, because people think, when I talk to people, around, it's like, well, that's that black festival. And I was like, well, it's not necessarily that black festival. It's an African festival that everyone's invited to join. Right. I was approached by people in the different mayor's offices and the different offices in the city, and they always say some things like, well, we should find a way to bring more European or European American people to the festival. And I was like, well, it's not necessarily a problem with the KUUMBA Festival. It's a problem. It's a deeper issue than just bringing white people, quote unquote, white people to the festival. Because the same thing happens with the Dogwood Arts Festival. There's a lack of African American people there. But there's just a deeper conversation that we need to have to solve that. It's not just because of festival participation. It's something else. It's some kind of phobia that multiple ethnic groups have in terms of are we invited? Are we welcome? Right. So it's bigger than just that. But it's present. We have a large amount of people who come from various ethnic groups. Right.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think that one of the great values of the festival is the opportunity for the entire community to experience art and culture and community, and that's one of the things that's amazing about KUUMBA is the sense of community that you feel, and it's very communal when you come to KUUMBA. Share a little bit about what people maybe who have never been before, and some of these people that we're talking about who maybe feel like it's not for them. What can they expect when they come to KUUMBA? What's the experience like over that 3-day festival? What do they see?
I would say rich culture. They see creativity. They see entrepreneurship. They see kids having fun. They would see kids being disciplined through performance. I would say that the drum and dance group, KUUMBA Watoto, we probably got one of the largest group of performers anywhere as far as festival concerned. I've been to many festivals, and we have almost 60, 70, 80 kids marching and dancing in waves and drumming in waves. So that's one of the things that I know that catches anybody's eye. They're like, wow. Every time I look at people, they just be amazed. Yeah. Even the parents of the kids, like, how y'all get them to be so disciplined in terms of of course through the camp. Right. But like, that's one of the things that people get to see. They get to see unity. They get to see, people literally just having fun. It's not about anything other than that, having fun and at the same time learning about some things that they didn't know. So it's a learning experience too. They get a learning experience. Awesome. So they see all those things.
Excellent. And you mentioned the kids, and I am always blown away when I see the KUUMBA Watoto dancers. It's just amazing. And for those who have not seen them, they are missing a tremendous gift to this community. It's absolutely amazing. And we are fortunate that we have, I think, some footage from this year's KUUMBA Festival of some of the dancers that we can share with our audience so that you can get just a little taste of what you may see at the KUUMBA Festival. Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing what you all are able to accomplish with these young people. And those are kids from the KUUMBA Camp, correct?
Right.
And so tell us a little bit about KUUMBA Camp. What ages do you work with? How long are you working with them?
KUUMBA Camp, it's a 4-week program. Sometimes it's 3.5 weeks. Sometimes we get the full 4 weeks. It just depends on what date the festival falls on.
Right.
We take kids from 5 all the way to about 17.
Mm-hmm.
And after 17, they pretty much volunteers. A lot of the guys kind of help out and volunteer. And we keep the kids all day, Monday through Fridays, from out. This year we did 8 to 2:30, but it's normally from 8:30 to around about 4.
Okay.
But the whole day we drum, we dance. They learn different pledges, and the pledges is like affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we go with. That's kind of out. That's what we're going with. That's what we go with, is kind of using it as an affirmation. So I learned the history of the dances, the history of the drums, the history of the rhythms that they do. They learn how to play the drums, how to do the dance, how the choreography works. They learn all those things in 3 weeks, and the discipline is important, because the thing that we tell the campers is that, hey, we have a show at the end of this camp. It's not like we're just doing it to be doing it, We have a show to present, and
they're working towards
something.
something.
Working towards something. So it always give them something to like. It kind of help us with the discipline, because they know they gotta get ready for the show.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the importance of it to me is the kids get to really, really tap in to the rhythm within themselves, because a lot of the kids be new.
Yeah.
Like, we had a lot of new campers. So a lot of the new campers, they roll right in and fit right in. And the awesome thing is the returning campers. Like, it's pretty awesome to see a kid grow up within the camp. And as the kid grows up, you see his progression in the drumming or the dance. You see that the kids each year get better and better and better. And so that's what I love about the camp. And they get fed, they get to eat, they eat breakfast, lunch, and snack. And yeah, it's an awesome situation. They learn a lot about unity and being creative and the importance of it. This year I talked to my drummers a lot about just value systems, just having values, setting values for yourself, and a lot of character things, So it's something that's continued to grow, and we continue to build it and make it better.
Yeah. And it would seem that it would be a great source. It essentially, they have an opportunity to develop a community.
Yeah.
Because dancing requires you to be able to coordinate with the people around you, and drumming, if somebody's off, everybody's off.
Yep.
And so the opportunity to really learn to work as a unit,
as a team,
and rely on the people around you, I think is an amazing gift to give young people.
Yeah, it's a lot of good team building aspects of what we do, because it's very important that the kids do know how to work with other people, other kids, even kids that they don't know. And they not only learn the team building, they learn how to build relationships. They're learning all of these things subliminally through the camp.
Yeah.
Not only just the history, all of it.
That's amazing. And Tora, I think one of the things that is really inspiring to me whenever I come to KUUMBA is that no matter what international artists you guys bring in, or national recording artists, or anything to that level, there's always representation, even with the young people from KUUMBA Camp and other areas. There's always representation of local and regional artists, and it seems like that's really a highlight and a focus. Can you talk a little bit about why it's really, really important for KUUMBA to highlight the gifts that we have right here in our own community?
Okay, well, it is very important. It's in the name of the organization, African American Appalachian Arts. This is the Appalachian region, and we have to highlight those who stay here. Right. We get national attention at times, so it's important to even give them attention. Some artists will perform at the festival. In past years, they will perform at the festival, and we may have an international artist present. but they would have their booking agent there, or they would have their manager there, and they would witness and see the local talent that Knoxville has to offer. And a lot of them have gotten follow-up work through those different agencies or managers or things like that. But it's important to highlight not only the national people but the local people, because we have talent here in Knoxville.
Right.
We have talent in every ethnic group, every community. There's someone who has great talent in musically or performing arts. So we want to live by that name of creativity, and especially in the Appalachian region.
It also gives the artists a platform.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They get a major platform to perform in. And also, I want to kind of touch back on the growth of the KUUMBA Festival. One thing that the KUUMBA Festival has grown, the spirit of it has grown throughout the community. It's
Absolutely.
grown past Knoxville to this point. It may look a little smaller. That's just an aspect of it, right? But the spirit of the KUUMBA Festival has grown through way past East Knoxville, way past Knoxville, Tennessee. That's one of the growth that we have had, and we will continue to strive to provide. Just continue the spirit of unity, the spirit of creativity, and just knowing that anything is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you talk about that spirit and kind of growing beyond just the 3-day festival. When we think about the fact that now in some of our county schools, African drum and dance are a part of the curriculum.
Right.
And I think that that's a huge, that a big part of that and a big influencer on that was KUUMBA Festival and Quad A, and you all infusing that into the culture of our community. And we have terrific drummers and dancers who are performing some of the places. I know you guys performed at basketball games. They perform outside of Knoxville. But talk a little bit about that and how we are seeing the influence of KUUMBA just outside of the 3-day festival and that spirit being infused into the broader community.
Yes. Knox County Schools introduced a magnet program, and through the magnet program, with the help of Quad A and other community members, city county members, as soon as that opened up a window for us to go ahead and infuse traditional West African drum and dance as a class too. Of course, I mean it was greatly played. I think it was a great additive to those two schools, because a lot of the kids that were in KUUMBA Watoto at the time were going to those schools. So, and from that conception, it's grown to producing hundreds and hundreds of drummers and dancers. It's been in the school system for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I've been teaching there. I'm going on 13 years of teaching West African drum there. So we get to teach kids from middle school all the way up to high school, and sometimes even elementary, because I'm at elementary every now and then doing after school programming.
Wow.
So what that does is it gives the kids, we're a very unique city. You know what I mean? It's not too many cities in the country that does this.
Right.
Nowhere in the state of Tennessee. It's a couple of places in maybe Ohio, not even in Atlanta. DC, Virginia area got it a little bit, most of it in charter schools. But yeah, it's a great thing. It's an awesome additive.
That's amazing. Well, I would like to, hear from you all, and you all can share with our viewing audience how they can continue to support KUUMBA Festival and Quad A beyond just this 3-day festival, because we want to keep this in our community. So what can folks do to be involved?
Well, we will definitely sometime in August we will have a roundtable discussion on what we need as a festival, and what people who are interested in helping, what they can do. One thing is we need people just to spread the word, whether it be word of mouth, whether it be Facebook or social media. We just need people to spread the word and come out to the festival if they're available, if they're off, or if they can walk and come on up there, just to be a part of it. Of course, we need sponsorship. We need volunteers, things like that. But more importantly, we just need the people to be present and there and to be able to enjoy.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. I really appreciate you guys coming out today and sharing a little bit with us about KUUMBA. We encourage everyone to stay connected with Quad A and KUUMBA Festival. You can go to their Facebook page. You can check out their website. We hope that you enjoyed this program, and we trust that you will join us again next week for another wonderful episode of Democratic TV. Same time, same place. We're going to close out with just a little bit of the drummers, the KUUMBA Watoto drummers from the festival this year. Thank you, guys.